I never thought I'd see the day when someone would literally steal my land out from under me while I was gone. But you know what? That's exactly what happened. And if you've ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA, maybe this won't sound so crazy. My name's Daniel, and for years I've been the proud owner of a beautiful 2-acre plot tucked into the trees in Oak Ridge Estates. The kind of place that feels more like a retreat than a backyard, you know? I always pictured myself building my dream house there someday. Nothing fancy, just peace and quiet, deer in the mornings, the sound of wind in the branches, all that. But life's got its own plans. Last year, my dad had a stroke, bad enough that I dropped everything and flew to Germany to be with him. And honestly, I don't regret it for a second. Before I left, though, I did everything you're supposed to do. I locked the gate, put up private property signs every few feet, and even sent a letter to the HOA to make it crystal clear I'd be out of the country for a while, just so they wouldn't get any ideas about abandoned property or whatever. Maybe I should have known that was wishful thinking. Fast forward 6 months. I'm jet-lagged, half asleep, dragging myself from the airport straight out to my land because, you just get that feeling in your gut when something's off. Sure enough, the old padlock on my gate is gone, and there's this cheap combo lock instead. But the real kicker is the sound of laughter, real, actual voices coming from inside. So I force the gate open, and what do I find? 3 camper vans circled up like a little commune. Strangers grilling burgers, coolers open, music playing. It looked like someone had thrown a block party on my dime. And the place was trashed, oak branches hacked back, a fire pit scorched right into the ground, beer bottles everywhere. Some genius had even filled part of my little pond with dirt to make space for a tent. My head's spinning, but I keep my cool and walk up to these folks. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? This is private property. We'll let you in. The guy running the grill, friendly enough, holds up a receipt like it's a golden ticket. Karen from the HOA said it was all good. We paid for the weekend. The receipt's got the HOA letterhead, Karen's signature. The whole deal, $300 for a weekend of wilderness camping. I almost laughed, except I was too busy being furious. So I tell them, as politely as I can, that I never agreed to any of this. They're shocked. One couple even shows me texts from Karen promising it's all totally above board. At least they're decent enough to pack up without too much of fuss, even if I can see the disappointment written all over their faces. After they go, I'm left standing in the mess, just taking it all in, feeling this weird mix of anger and disbelief. That's when I noticed the real damage. The trees, the lights nailed into the trunks, even my signs gone. My sanctuary was unrecognizable. You ever get so mad you can't even sleep? That was me that night. The next morning, I'm at the HOA's little community center for an emergency board meeting, still dirty from cleaning up. Karen, bleach blonde, always in those yoga outfits that look expensive but never see a drop of sweat, puts on this big smile when she spots me. Daniel, welcome home. We've been keeping your property active while you were gone, maintaining community standards. I'm pretty sure I rolled my eyes. I cut her off and lay out the receipts on the table. You've been renting out my land, taking cash, and not telling anyone. The board looks uncomfortable, and I realize they have no idea what's going on. Karen, though, doesn't miss a beat. When a property is vacant, it falls under HOA maintenance jurisdiction, she says, real smug. You didn't say we couldn't use it, so there's implied consent. She's got a million excuses, every one worse than the last, and at one point even tries to claim she's keeping all the money in a special community fund. Roger, the board treasurer, a quiet guy who mostly keeps to himself, finally pipes up, Karen, I've never seen any record of that fund. You could feel the air leave the room. At that point, Karen starts getting defensive. Her tone sharpens. She basically accuses me of neglect, says my land was an eyesore, and that she did me a favor. Drop this, she warns, or I'll drown you in so many HOA violations you'll wish you never bought in. And she's saying this right in front of the board. I didn't bother arguing. Instead, I hired a lawyer, Stephanie Chun, sharp as a tack and absolutely ruthless when it comes to HOAs. We gather evidence, and man, do the receipts pile up fast. Neighbors who'd seen Karen taking cash. emails supposedly from me giving her permission, which, by the way, I never sent, and even security footage of her leading groups onto my property. Then comes the twist. My neighbor Jessica, who I barely knew before all this, turns out to have a security camera pointed right at my gate. She hands over a whole month's worth of footage, including Karen collecting envelopes, and get this, paying a landscaping crew to take down one of my old oak trees for more parking. Jessica ends up testifying on my behalf. Didn't see that one coming, but sometimes the people you least expect end up being the ones in your corner. When the lawsuit finally hits, the HOA panics. Now, they've got insurance lawyers trying to make deals, but I'm not about to let Karen skate by with a slap on the wrist. Suddenly, the whole neighborhood wakes up. Turns out, Karen's been running her own little empire, pocketing special assessments, threatening folks who push back, even funneling HOA money into her backyard community showcase project. Everyone's got a story, and it all comes pouring out. The day we go to court, Karen walks in looking like she's ready to win an Oscar for Best Victim. But the judge isn't buying a word of it. My lawyers got proof of every forged email, every dollar taken. And the forensic tech they brought in traces those fake emails straight to Karen's laptop. When the judge sees that, he just shakes his head. Maintenance is not the same as running a campground. He says, and nothing in these bylaws lets you collect rent and keep it off the books. Karen's lawyer stammers, but it's hopeless. It's over quick. Karen gets hit for trespassing, fraud, forgery, the works. 75 grand in damages, plus legal fees. The HOA's insurance covers some, but Karen's stuck with most of it. She's fired that night. The police start poking around her finances, and as we're leaving the courthouse, I catch her on the phone, crying to her husband about selling their house to pay the bill. As she rushes past me, she hisses, "I hope you're happy. You ruined my life over a piece of land you weren't even using." You know what? Maybe I did, but at least now, everyone knows where the real line is drawn in this neighborhood. Now, let's be honest. Some folks still think I went too far. Others say I didn't go far enough. And the debate's still burning on every porch and street corner. But what do you think? Was I right to drag all this into the light? Or should I have let sleeping dogs lie? Let me know where you stand. Sometimes, justice in a community comes down to whose side you take when the rules get bent.